Yo, what's up guys? It's King Sean here, back with another video, and in today's video, I will be bringing you guys my first and final 53-man roster prediction. We just had our final preseason game last night against the Patriots. Was unable to do a video on that because it was really late, but I'll kind of talk about that game in this 53-man roster prediction as well. This is going to be a very realistic projection 53-man roster prediction. So hopefully you guys enjoy today's video. If you do, make sure to hit that sub button, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm on the road to 4K subs, so if you could hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so here is my 53-man roster projection. Let's start by talking about the offense first. Starting with quarterback, obviously have us keeping two QBs, Jayden Daniels as our starter and Marcus Mariota as our backup. We might keep three QBs because I know the NFLPA just changed the rule or something like that. Like, it's a rule that kind of states that you cannot keep a third emergency quarterback on the practice squad anymore and elevate them before the game. Now you can only kind of keep them on the roster as your third quarterback. So, that kind of helped teams a little bit with roster management. They were allowed to, keep two quarterbacks on the 53-man roster, but before game days they could elevate a third emergency quarterback, before the game. So kind of sucks right there. So that may, kind of have us keep Jeff Driscoll, but Jeff Driscoll, he was pretty bad last night. He had some bad incompletions, and he had a really bad interception. So I feel like he will get cut. Now, will he clear waivers? I'm not sure. If he gets waived, if he clears waivers, I'm not sure because he is not a bad backup at all. He was really good against the Dolphins and Jets, and he has not been too bad in the training camp so far, but he had a really bad game last night, and teams usually just keep two quarterbacks on their roster. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Driscoll, but only have us keeping two quarterbacks. And then running back, obviously B. Robin Eckler, and then the discussion comes down to Michael Wiley and Jeremy McNichols. How many guys do we keep at running back, three or four? I feel like we should keep three. If we keep four, I wouldn't mind. We just need to, cut somewhere else, maybe linebacker or defensive end, maybe safety, cornerback. We'll see, but I really like Michael Wiley. He had a really nice game last night. He only had really one negative play, and he got stuffed in the backfield for like a 1 or 2 yard loss. But overall, he had a really good game last night. He's been really good in training camp and in the preseason. He had a nice game against the Jets and the Dolphins. He shows off his explosiveness. He's had some really explosive runs, and I didn't think Michael Wiley was that explosive, but he's pretty explosive, which shocked me. And he had a nice touchdown, like I said, last night against the Patriots. Dive for the pylon. It was a really nice touchdown. So I feel like Michael Wiley should make the roster. Now, Jeremy McNichols does provide more on the special teams, which, I know Dan Quinn and other coaches on the coaching staff value a lot. So McNichols might make the roster over Wiley, or maybe they just could keep both. But I prefer Wiley over McNichols. He's much more explosive than McNichols, and I feel like he's a better pass catcher out of the backfield than McNichols as well. So if it were up to me, I would definitely keep Wiley over McNichols. And then wide receiver, I have us keeping Terry McLaurin, OZ, Luke McCaffrey, Diami, Jameson Crowder, and Martavis Bryant. Or maybe we bring in a guy like John Mechie. Maybe we trade for him. I know a lot of teams have been calling about him. Hopefully we're one of the teams. Not sure though. So, hopefully we bring in a wide receiver from free agency because Martavis Bryant, he had a good game last night. He drew multiple pass interference calls and had a nice block on the Michael Wiley touchdown and had a nice contested catch for a touchdown in the red zone. So Bryant was good last night, but our receiver core just isn't very impressive. It's not that great. You can say it doesn't have a lot of talent. I'm not going to say it's flat out bad because obviously, we have Terry McLaurin as our wide receiver, Brian De'Ami Brown. He has pretty good connection with Jayden Daniels, and we'll see what Luke McCaffrey does. But our receiver core is just not amazing right now. And, trading John Dawson away just makes it a little bit worse. So, maybe we trade for a guy like Brandon Ayuk, but I honestly doubt it. Maybe we, like I said, go trade for a guy like John Mechie, or maybe pick someone else up from in the trademark or free agency. We'll see. But I do have us keeping those six wide receivers. We should not keep seven. I don't see the point of keeping seven. We should just keep those six. Moving on to tight ends, I have us keeping three tight ends: Zach Ertz, Benson, and John Bates. No question there. That was probably the easiest position group, to predict out of every position group on the roster because, Cole Turner, he was really bad last night. He had a holding penalty call on him, and 2 drop passes. I mean, that's really bad. He did have a nice 25-yard reception last night, but that's not going to help your case to make the roster, in my opinion. So, Cole Turner, I wish he turned out really good. He still could be good, but I feel like maybe he'll go to another team if we do cut him or waive him. But hopefully, he could make it back to the practice squad, because it would be cool having him on the practice squad, but not the 53-man roster. He just hasn't shown enough. So those are the 3 tight ends I was keeping. Once again, Ertz, Ben Sinnott, and John Bates. Moving on to the offensive line, starting with tackles, I was keeping 4. Obviously, Coleman, Wiley, and then Lucas and Scott as your backups. No surprises there. And then on the interior, I was keeping Allegretti, Biotish, Dieter, Stromberg, and Paul. Now, don't be surprised if we keep Julian Good-Jones over Ricky Stromberg. I like Ricky Stromberg more than Julian Good-Jones, but I feel like, the coaching staff may like Good-Jones over Stromberg. They've been, putting Julian Good-Jones in the game over Stromberg in most of the preseason games and training camp as well. They've been giving Julian Good-Jones more reps than Stromberg. So we'll see if Stromberg makes it. I would love if he made it. I still think he has a lot of potential. He can be a really good backup. He can play center and right guard. So we'll see about Stromberg. Then defensive tackle, I was keeping Allen, Payne, Ridgeway, and Newton. Now for Darian Mathis, he's been really freaking good this preseason. He made plays against the Jets, Dolphins, and Patriots. Especially last night against the Patriots, he was getting pressure on the quarterback and had 2 batted passes, which is really freaking good. But I feel like, our defensive tackle depth is just really good. I mean, with Ridgeway, Newton, and obviously your starters, Payne and Allen. So I just feel like there's just no room for Mathis on this roster. And we might cut him. Well, I feel like in this prediction, obviously, we will cut him. But we could trade him maybe for a wide receiver or some draft compensation. We'll see. But ultimately, I do not have Phidarian Mathis making this roster. Moving on to the defensive ends. Now, this is kind of where it gets weird, because I was keeping 6. But keep in mind that Jamin Davis, he's going to get linebacker snaps this season, especially with, Jordan Magee being out for a while. He will return at some point this season, but we're probably going to place him on the PUP list or IR to start off this season. He'll be on that for a while. So that kind of gives us an extra roster spot. So I feel like we may keep a guy like Javonte Jean-Baptiste on there, which, he could serve as our 6th defensive end. And obviously, Jamin Davis, he'll get some pass rushing snaps off the edge as well, but he'll also get some linebacker snaps too now that, Magee is injured. So I was keeping 4 linebackers, you could say, minus Jordan Magee, 3, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Lavu, and then Mikal Walker. But if you want to include Jamin Davis, that's 4, and then Jordan Magee, that's 5. So ultimately, you could say we're keeping 4 linebackers, 6 defensive ends, but since Magee is on IR, you can say 3 linebackers or 4 linebackers, and then 5 defensive ends. However you want to put it, the roster still would be 53, and obviously, Magee will be going on IR. Moving on to the cornerbacks, this is pretty easy right here. Benjamin St-Juste, Emmanuel Forbes, Michael Davis, Mikey Sanders still, Noah Igbenogany, and Castro Fields are your 6 cornerbacks we're going to keep. Noah Igbenogany was not that great last night, to be honest. He struggled tackling last night for sure. He even got beat in coverage once, I'm pretty sure. So he just wasn't great last night, but I do still have him making the roster because I don't think he'll be a bad, backup slot cornerback to Mikey Sanders still, so he's not that bad. And then Tariq Castro Fields, he made some really nice plays against the Dolphins in the preseason of week 2, so really like him, think he's going to make the roster. This is where it kind of gets hard because I feel like we keep 6 safeties. We could keep 7 safeties, shoot, but I feel like we'll keep 6. Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin are your starters. This coaching staff seems to love Percy Butler. He's been playing over Derek Forrest all summer long, all training camp, all preseason long. So I'm not a big fan of Percy Butler, but everybody started from square one, and apparently, Percy Butler, he has been impressing. So, I mean, that is good to hear, but we'll see, if he actually does something this season. But we're going to keep Percy Butler. Dominique Hampton, we drafted him in the 5th round, so we're probably going to keep him. And then Jeremy Reeves has, he's our special teams ace. I'm not sure why, people have been saying that we're not going to keep Jeremy Reeves. He's on the roster bubble. We're going to keep Jeremy Reeves, all right? We re-signed him to a 2-year deal this offseason for a reason. He's going to be our special teams ace. He is safe on the roster. And then Tyler Owens, he has been having an outstanding summer so far, training camp and preseason. He's been really freaking good, so I think he has to make the roster. And then Derek Forrest, he's just the odd one out, and it sucks. Derek Forrest, he didn't have a great night last night. He kind of got lost in coverage at times. So, you know, it sucks. Therefore, he's probably going to get cut. Maybe we can trade him for something. Maybe, you know, a day 3 pick, something like that. But it just sucks that, you know, Darrick Forrest is probably going to be the odd one out. Because I like Darrick Forrest. He had a really good 2022 season. Obviously, his 2023 season ended earlier because of injury. But Darrick Forrest, because of the safety depth, the great safety depth we have on this team, he's probably going to be the odd man out. Finally, we have special teams. Only got us keeping 3 special teamers. Obviously, you know, our punter is going to be Tressway. Our long snapper is going to be Tyler Ott. And then our kicker, I feel like it's going to be Cade York, but I wouldn't be surprised if we brought another kicker in. I mean, DQ said it last week himself. The kicker competition is not over, but Cade York, he was good yesterday. He made both of his field goals and both of his kicks. Now, his kicks were from 33 and 35 yards, I'm pretty sure. But one thing I do love about Cade York, what I saw last night against the Patriots, is that all of his kicks were straight down the middle, which means he's accurate from 30 to 39 yards. Now, I do wish he kind of kicked from 40-plus yards, got a chance to kick from 40-plus yards because, you know, the short kicks are easy to make. You should make those kicks, and Cade York makes those kicks. I just wanted to see if he can nail it from 40-plus yards and longer. But, you know, Cade York, I feel like he should be our starting kicker unless he goes out there in practice and then absolutely bombs it, just looks bad. But he should be our starting kicker. Maybe we bring in another kicker. We'll see. But I do have him making the roster as of right now. So that is it for my 53-man roster prediction. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment down below what on my 53-man roster projection do you agree with and what on it do you not agree with. And other than that, it's me, King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.